Hi, this is Nilay. Today, my Fit Focus series is on shoulder stretches. And this is one of the request subjects that I received, and I created a 24 different shoulder stretch sequence for you to follow, which comes from the gentle to a deeper stretch and then kind of cools you down into the last few stretches. For this sequence, we're going to need a strap, which can be as basic as a yoga strap, it can be a stretch strap, or if you don't have one, you can just basically use a towel. We're going to use a stick, which I'll be using a bow staff, but this can be any type of broomstick or a dowel that is sturdy that you can use. We'll use a stool, and if you cannot find a wide enough stool, you can always find a wide wall top with a ledge or something similar to that you can press your arms completely on. We're going to use a mat and a wall and then a partner, because we have 4 partner stretches. So the shoulder stretches are great for all of us. Yet if you have any shoulder problems, shoulder injuries, muscle related locking shoulders, or sometimes even frozen shoulder syndrome, can really benefit from this sequence, as well as the sports such as volleyball, wrestling, circus arts, archery, basketball, cricket, baseball, mountain climbing, hockey, martial arts, tennis, rowing, kayaking, and swimming are a few just to name. Yet, most of us think that our hips are very tight, but all of us have actually tight shoulders too. So I'd like to address these issues with this sequence. Of course, there's more shoulder stretches that we can create, and some of these stretches are also going to address the stretching of the chest, upper back, and our sides as well, since we have muscles that connect to each other. So that's good for the entire upper body all at the same time. And with these stretches, we're going to really focus on the breaths. When we're going deep into the stretch, we want to exhale further. If the question of repetitions come up, there is really no magical number. You can learn the whole sequence from top to the bottom, and then you can do as many repetitions as you would like. You can go 3 repetitions, 5 repetitions of each, or 10, or you can do the whole sequence all along with me and then do it twice over. It all depends on your time commitment as well as the amount of the work that you'd like to bring in. So I'd like to start with the first one, which I call a perpendicular press. We're going to press the right arm across the body while the left arm creates a perpendicular angle to it. And we're going to lengthen the horizontal arm away from the body. As you can see, there's a little bit more room that we can really reach out while we are pressuring this arm deep into the chest at the same time. But it's not only just a press into the chest, it's just all about lengthening. So if we can feel the shoulder stretch from the back of it, yet we can add a little bit more depth into this by bending this lower arm and using that arm's muscles to lengthen and stretch the shoulder a little bit further. Let's do it to the other side. Now the left arm comes across and the right arm creates this perpendicular line, and we're going to reach and lengthen all the way to the other side of the room, and we can continue to bend the left arm as well to deepen it a little bit more. Second one, I'd like to call it a crossover opposite knees. I'm going to bend the knees slightly. We're going to cross the arms over these knees, and as we get a nice good grab from the outer side of the opposite knees, we're going to exhale and lift the chest out, pulling from the fingertips. You can continue doing this with your breath, inhaling down, exhaling and lifting and lengthening, trying to bring the shoulder blades away from each other. It feels so good. Number 3 is the reverse interlaced fingers. So we're going to interlace our fingers at the back. As we do so, we will exhale and lengthen the arms as straight as we possibly can. Bring them into. Continue to press your shoulder blades towards each other. And with another exhale, see if you can press the heels of the hands together as well to give your shoulders a great stretch as well as your chest too. Now let's do the reverse of this. For the fourth stretch, as we cross the wrist in the front, palms will come in together and we're going to lengthen through the fingertips. This time, opening from the shoulder blades out to the front. Lengthen out as much as possible, and right here, if you can relax the head down, your head can stretch, as well as giving a little bit more depth to your shoulders right over here. Exhaling, let's bring the arms back down, and we're going to go to the fifth stretch, which I call the self bear hug. So we're going to cross the arms again and walking the fingers towards the spine. We're going to give ourselves a deep self hug as much as possible. Right here, you can again push your head forward a little bit more to lengthen and open the shoulder blades away from each other. Now let's look which arms at the top. I'm going to open the arms and drop that arm to the bottom to throw the hands towards the back again to lengthen and walk our fingers back towards the spine once more. Next, for the fifth one, let's go for the forearm lock rotator. So let's hide the right forearm behind the back. Left arm is going to come to the fleshy part of the right arm. If you can reach here, instead of going too far up, we're going to go ahead and pull this shoulder to the front to give this rotator a good stretch right over here. And let's repeat it to the other side. Hand position change. I'm going to go ahead and bring the left rotator forward. So the next three stretches, I'd like to use my stick. I'm going to continue on the rotator stretches. So I'm going to hold on to my bow staff. The seventh stretch is the arm up rotator. So the stretching arm is going to hold on to the stick from the top, and then the other arm is going to hold on from the bottom. We're going to open the elbow to the side of the body. As the lower arm pulls the stick a little bit forward, you're going to feel the stretch coming in from the middle of the armpit up towards the top of the shoulder. Kind of nice spiraling stretch. And you can wiggle your fingers, move them up and down to position the stretch into different parts of the shoulder a little bit. And before I switch to the other arm, I'm going to go actually to the eighth stretch, which is the arm down rotator. So the stretching arm is going to immediately connect to the lower part of the stick, and then the upper arm is going to go across the neck, and we're going to go ahead and pull the stretching arm from the top and feeling this rotator stretch from the top towards the inside of the armpit. Very good. Let's repeat the number 7 and 8 to the other side. Arm up rotator, stretching arms holding on to the stretch from the top, other one is in the front, and we're gonna pull this all the way into the front, feeling the left side really coming into the stretch from the rotator. And then let's do it from the top by dropping the stretching arm to the bottom, and then the other arm from the top across the neck, and we're going to pull from the upper arm as we slightly resist from the other one to bring the stretch into the rotator. Next, we're going to plant the stick right in front of us, and you can do this with a really sturdy standing vertical bar as well. I call this number 9, hanging off a stick. So we're gonna hold on to the top of the stick as far out as we can reach, and then we're gonna just slide our chest down as much as possible. You can also walk your feet back if you can, if there's more room there. I'm going to really feel the stretch come from the bottom of the shoulder blades, even to the top of the back. Really, the more we hang off the stick, the more shoulders will open out. You can just bend your knees to one side and then the other. Feel this coming a little more to the sides. We're going to even drop one arm and let the other one hang for another one single-sided stretch. Let's do the other side as well. Feels very good. Now I'm going to drop my stick down and pick up my stool. Again, this can be a chair, sofa, or any wall with a ledge top. And let's press our entire arm, making sure that the elbow is staying on top of the chair. We're not going to drop the elbow down. because that's going to be our leveraging point. And once we do so, let's walk away from the chair and drop the chest and then the head in between the arms as much as possible. If you can hold on to the other side of the chair or whatever you are on, you can also gain a little bit more leverage and sink the chest down as much as possible. Lift your hips up as you deeply exhale into the stretch. You're gonna feel the shoulders slightly rotate and lift up. It feels so good, but at the same time, sometimes I can feel it a little bit too sharp. The breath becomes really important in this one. It may go into a point that it may make you nauseous, which is nothing to be fearful of. That means you're getting a really, really deep stretch. Let's slowly come out of this and still continue to use the chair. This time we're going to turn our back and still keep the arms up on top of the chair. So once the palms are down on the chair, we're going to walk away from the chair and we're going to sit as deep as possible. And the shoulder is going to feel this immediately. If you'd like to deepen it, you can come up onto your toes and sit a little bit deeper away from the chair. Continue to breathe on. Now coming up off the chair, let's go to the wall right now. And this is going to be our 11th stretch. And I call this push to the wall. So now with this, I'd like you to see this from the side as well. So we're going to bring the arms up to the wall. And then we're going to go ahead and place the palms right here and we're going to walk away from the wall. Very important, we're going to make sure the collarbone is actually going to press onto the wall. So let's see this from the side as well, that we're going to make sure that we're going to find the best positioning right here. So you can sink down towards the wall, and once you do so, go ahead and walk your feet away from the wall as much as possible. Hanging it away, pressing the chin and then the chest to the wall. Make sure to breathe and hang off from the wall as deep as possible. And then we're still continuing to use the wall for the next one, and I'd like you to see this from the side as well. The fingers will still lift up, but we're gonna turn our back to the wall. So I'm gonna place one hand onto the wall and then the other one. Pretty much the wrists are on the shoulder height, maybe a little bit higher. And with this, we're going to lift the chest up and we're going to continue to walk off and away from the wall. Once you start to feel the stretch, you can deepen this one that I call push away from the wall by sitting down into it. Breathing on, it is immediately going to make your shoulder stretch so much deeper. We'll slowly come back up out of that, and then we're going to leave one arm on the wall, and once we start hugging the wall, we're going to turn away and roll away from it. Let's keep this arm here and let's twist and turn and roll away from the wall as much as possible. When we cannot go any further, let's go ahead and sit into it right now as deep as we possibly can. And you might want to see this one from the front as well. So let's look at it from the other arm. I'm going to come back slowly, hug the wall with the other arm. And we're going to turn, twist, and roll away from this arm. When I cannot go any further, I'm going to leave that hand over there. Without dropping it, I'm going to slow drop down my knees as low as I can go. And this is going to let us stretch the shoulders so very well and deep. Wonderful. I'm going to slowly turn back into the wall and release this arm at this time. Now, for the next few, we're going to go ahead and use the strap, but before I do so, I'm going to do this one gentler stretch first, as in kind of a warm-up, like we did in the very beginning. So number 15, we know this as a tricep stretch, but I like to call it tricep-shoulder side pull. So we're going to start with one arm up over the shoulder, and then the hand first goes down to its own shoulder. Yet we're not going to keep it there. other hand is on the elbow, we're not going to only pull it back, which is going to just really help the tricep mostly, but we're going to slide the stretching hand towards the opposite shoulder, and we're going to place the other hand towards the head, pulling this in. I'd like to really see this kind of funny bone that we're creating right there under the bottom of the shoulder, to really make sure that the shoulder is coming to the stretch. Yes, it is stretching your triceps too, which is great. And let's switch to the other side immediately from here. Hand is on the same shoulder. We place our hand towards the back, and then hand is sliding towards the opposite shoulder, and we get to pull the hand towards the head, keeping the chest and then the chin lifted as much as possible, so we can apply the stretch deep into the shoulder with this one all the way. Now let's go ahead and get our strap. I'm going to hold on to it from the ends with one hand then the other. So first, the strap can stay up top over your head with straight arms, and I'm going to start stretching my right side. So exhaling, we're going to drop the strap behind the head towards one side all the way up. Without curling in and crumpling right here, we're going to keep the chest open and allow the shoulder to pull out. We can bend this elbow and kind of pull the shoulder from the bottom to the top, kind of playing with this, and then lengthen both arms out as far out as possible away from the body on this one side. Exhaling, let's bring this stretch to the other side very slowly. First, we're going to go down behind the head all the way to the other side, kind of easing into it. Again, you can bend the upper elbow and really feel it from a different spot. Then lengthen out from that direction all the way as far out as we get to lengthen. Wonderful. Holding the strap over the head. Now, we're going to keep our arms really straight. You can also do this with the stick. And you have the option of closing or opening your hands on the strap or the stick. The closer your hands are, the harder the stretch is going to become. So this is my closure. Yours may be a little bit open, so test it, making sure that your arms are straight. So find the closest point. We're going to switch the strap to the back of the body and then back into the front. So we're going to go up and over. Again, if it is too deep, open your hands and slowly close them in as your shoulders start to become more flexible. This is really very deep, but I love this one very much. So this is the last of the strap stretches that we're going to do. And the next 4 stretches we're going to do is going to be partner stretches. So I'm going to call my partner here to help out. That way you get to see how you can work with the partner. While we're working with the partner, we're going to make sure that we establish the best communication so that your partner or you are not pulling on your partner to the point of injury. Always communication and very slow moving. So number 18 is going to be the back bear hug. The partner is going to now sit onto the mat with straight legs. First on a step pose, and then as we come close and giving the partner's back a nice support from our knees, we're going to gently go ahead and hold on to the wrist of the partner. I call it back bear hug because usually we do the bear hugs from the back to the front. Now the partner is doing the bear hug from our back. So we're going to slowly lift the wrist up, and as we give a little bit more support, you can lower your hands under the elbows and allow your partner to hug you in while you give them a good support from the under of the elbows. Right here, as we pull, lift, and lengthen, he's going to feel his shoulders really open up way more than he can do by himself. And again, if he taps out and tells you that it is too much, very slowly and gently, not very fast, we're going to let it go. Number 20, or I guess we're on the 19, we're going to be doing the shoulder butterfly. So the partner is going to place the hands on the back of his hand, or he can make the shoulder butterfly that I'd like to call it. Now, one knee supports the back of the partner and then hands are on the inner side of the elbows. So we're going to gently press the elbows all the way out, opening the chest and at the same time opening the shoulders as deep as possible. He's very strong, so I'm pushing a little bit more of my body's weight and he didn't tap out or tell me. So this is a good point of the stretch. And next we're going to go number 20, arm pull back. I'm going to hold on to the partner's wrist from the bottom, and he's a little bit tall, so it's going to give me a little bit hard time, but I'm going to give a little more support to his back and I'm going to pull it up and over, right over here. He's going to feel the stretch coming from the bottom of the shoulder blades and the inner side of the shoulders really well. And last one, number 21, is the seal stretch. So the partner is going to go down on the mat on his belly. When he does so, we're going to interlock the wrists for each other. I'm going to walk in slowly. He's going to slowly lift his chest and I'm going to assist him do so. On the next exhale, he is going to lift a little bit more and I'm going to lift him at the same time. Exhaling, he's going to lift a little bit more. Again, wonderful stretch for the entire back, but especially the shoulders too. And then when he cannot go any further, very gently and slowly, I'm going to release him back down onto the mat. And the partner stretches are going to bring a lot of depth into your stretching routine. So I highly recommend it and do it very slowly. So I'm going to finish with the next 3. And I'm going to continue those on the mat as in a way of the cool down of our shoulder stretching sequence. So we're going to get down onto all of our fours, hands exactly under our knees and knees exactly under our shoulders. We're going to thread in the right arm inside the left arm and slowly fall down to that right shoulder, weighing our body's weight onto this side. Thread in on all fours is what I call the stretch. You can just let it go at this point. If your shoulder hurts, press with the opposite hand and push your body's weight away a little bit. But if you're okay to go and you'd like to deepen it, bring the left arm up over it on its own shoulder. Lengthen and use this lengthening to roll this hand around your lower back. Fingers may be able to grab onto the top of the opposite thigh. And if you can leverage from that point, you can twist the upper shoulder towards the back. And in this position, if you are with me all the way, lower shoulder is twisting forward, upper shoulder is twisting back, and it feels great. We can come out of this again, lifting the left hand up over on his shoulder, placing in front of the face to give ourselves strength to lift back up onto all fours so we can thread in the left arm. I'm going to turn my other side for this, and left arm comes under the right. We're gonna fall into this, let it go gently, and right arm lengthens up. Using this lengthening around the lower back to the top of the opposite thigh, we're gonna lift and roll the upper shoulder to the back of the room. Breathing on. Let's slowly lift this arm back up, place it in front of the face and come up on all fours to go to number 23, the puppy stretch. We're gonna lengthen the arms as straight as possible in front of us on the mat. And as we lay down the collarbone on the mat, the chin is going to touch the mat. This way we can press our entire body's weight onto the upper back to be able to open the shoulders out really, really well. Hips lift up, sink into this, especially with the exhales. And when we slowly come up, let's go ahead and roll down onto the mat, and we're going to hug the floors. I'm going to hug the floors with my right arm first, and then I'm going to roll towards that arm. So number 24, the last one, roll over on the floor. We're going to roll towards this right arm, bring the left leg into a bent position, and keeping the other arm hugging the floor on this side. Really pressing and twisting onto this arm as much as possible. And then you can go back into the initial pose on hugging the floor to change your direction towards the left side, lifting the right leg into a bent position, and we're just going to fall into this as much as possible. And by the end of this 24th one, your shoulders should have gotten a fantastic, wonderful stretching experience. Please let me know if you have any feedback about the shoulder stretches, or also let me know if you have any fit focus related subjects that you'd like me to go over. Thank you very much for joining in me today, and you can always let me know and reach me out from the messaging system, the email, Facebook, or here on YouTube. Have a wonderfully fit day.